So this picture that you posted, that the poster posted, reminds me of a story that my mom told me when I was younger. By the way, this is International Women's Month. I am Afro-Korean American. My mother is now an octogenarian. She lives 724 miles away from me in Hampton, Virginia. I live in Valdosta, Georgia, and I live an alternate type of lifestyle, so I'm nowhere near her. But um, here's the story. It was a story about the willow tree and the frog. Growing up, I've always had a strong mind and a strong spirit. And my mom would always say to me, and please forgive me, haven't seen or talked to my mom in a long time, so my Korean is yuck. She would say, "Aigo, oktung gengtung hejina," and she would tell me, "Mori, you know, you're just like the frog." She couldn't say frog, but frog. And I used to laugh, and I said, "Mom, what you mean by that?" And she would tell me the story about the frog and the willow tree. So the frog's mom would always tell the frog to do something, and the frog would do the exact opposite of whatever the mother told her. Now, keep in mind, I'm 50. I haven't heard this story since I was probably like 8, so I don't remember all the details. I'm just summing it up. But the frog would always do whatever the opposite of what the mom would tell him. And so the mom said, in all the years, through the teenage years, whatever the frog always did that. "Oktung kengtung hejina." Whatever the mommy said, the frog would do the exact opposite, right? And so the mom was getting old, and the mom told the frog, "Hey, I'm getting old now. When I begin to die, I need you to bury me. But don't bury me right under the willow tree, but bury me high up, because if you bury me by the willow tree by the river, when the water rises, the river will wash mommy away." So the frog said, "Okay, I'll do that." So the time came when the frog's mama died. And so the frog the oh, I need to call my mom and ask her to tell me this story again. So the frog buried the mama under the willow tree. The frog says, "Well, it makes more sense to do it because it'll be shaded, it'll keep her from the sun, and the water is really low." And then one day there was a big flood, and it washed the frog's mama out to sea. So that's the story. It doesn't quite translate the same. It's probably not the exact same way that my mom told it. But because my mom is aging and, I'm estranged from my family, so, sometimes every now and then I'll go and try to look up my family members on Facebook and see how they're doing. And everybody's doing just great. But, looking at pictures of my mom, and my nieces and nephews, they probably don't know how strong and beautiful my mom was. She's getting older. And when I saw pictures of my mom hanging out with my brother and all his kids and everybody's looking really happy, it scared me a little bit because to me, I love my mom. I think she's the most beautiful woman in the world, but she looks like she's lost a lot of weight. She almost looks like a skeleton. And I spoke to her last. She told me that she's lost a lot of hair. She's always had long, thick, gorgeous, beautiful hair. And then on top of that, I was telling her how I wanted to do the 724-mile walk. And actually, I was planning mine the same time the Buddhist monks were going. And Buddhist monks aren't typically Korean, but since they were Asian, I'm Asian. When I shaved my head bald, I look like a Buddhist monk. But I'm Afro-Asian, by the way. But so, yeah, mixed blood. But so I wanted to meet up with them, but that didn't quite happen. I knew somebody that was a member of a church that I went to. He drives from Atlanta to Valdosta. And I was like, "Hey, if I catch a ride back with him on a Sunday, I can meet up with the monks." But, we couldn't coordinate those logistics, so it didn't happen. And then when I looked to research how to get there on my own by walking, I realized there was a lot of places where there was nothing but woods straight up. And, I live in the deep south. And, there's rumors of sundown towns. I haven't had any real racist experience or anything like that. As a matter of fact, the black people and white people get along really good here. So, I mean, I really love it. It's beautiful, very beautiful. And Valdosta, Georgia now reminds me a lot of Hampton, Virginia, which is where I grew up, back in the 80s. Not to say it's not a dangerous place because sometimes the country can be very dangerous. Valdosta has its things. Like they said, the devil is in Georgia. But, really good experiences here. And it reminds me of my mom. Like I said, my mom's getting older. And when I had conversations with her, she's lost some teeth. Just like I'm missing a tooth or two in the back. Her eyesight is going and mine is going too. And it's just, I think about my mom a lot. And I always knew that when she gets older, I wanted to be close. But because I was estranged from my family, and my mom always, she's Korean. So Korean mothers, when they say something that mean it, they mean it. When she disowned me, basically didn't, was like, why'd you even come here? It broke my heart, especially going through things that I've been through and just wanted to be close to where my mom was. But it was understandable, and I just remember saying, the last thing I said was, through tears, are you sure? Because, I didn't want to be at fault if I, wasn't able to get back. But I'm going to plan to come back because what she said to me, and it's kind of history repeating itself. My mom, she was disowned by her mom when she moved to the U.S. and married my dad. And me, I was disowned by my mom because, I wasn't successful. I was supposed to graduate from college. I just wasn't successful, and she thought, and I'm always been a very loving person, but when I went to school and people would bring me back and give me rides, she was thought I was in college dating, and that's not what was happening at all. When you're in college, people give you rides back, and so it just happened to be a male once or twice, and she really was not appreciative of that. But so what she said to me, the dynamic words to make cut this short, is she said, Mori, because she always played tough, but the time is coming. She says to me, you know, because I told her I wanted to come, and I was letting her know that honestly, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get there. And she says, well, I just want to see you one last time. So that lets me know that she's, it's towards her end. But anyways, I love my mom. Mani Mani Sadam Hamnida. And shout out to all the international women that are out there. And even if you don't know you're international, you are international. I go to different churches. One of the churches I go to is very diverse in spirit, maybe not in reality makeup, but they're open and accepting of everyone. And I remember I'm so proud of my culture and heritage, even though I don't look particularly mixed. There's another woman that goes to this church, and she's by blood Asian and white, but she was raised white, And she was like, well, white people don't really know where they come from. And that's not true. White folks come from, they have family from Ireland and things like that. So all of us in America, we're part of the melting pot unless we're, fully native. And so we have family from different places. And then by that, you are international. So I love each and every one of you, especially the ladies here are very supportive, even though we don't do any back and forth on here or anything. I noticed that I'll like a video, I'm scrolling, and somebody will just come and like back. So I really do love you guys. I appreciate the posts that you made because they inspired me. When I'm going through different things, it helps me to relate, and sometimes it helps me to communicate. When you're going through doldrums, you really don't have a lot to say, or you oversay. So I'm going to stop this now, but I really appreciated this video, whether it's AI generated or whatever, because it reminded me of my mom and reminded me of the importance of me getting home. I love you all. Have a great day. Happy International Women's Month. And if you want to share about the international women in your family, please do. I love history, I love culture, and I love family.